your referee. Introducing first, to my right, he weighs in at 285 pounds from American Samoa, Samoa Joe! His opponent to my left, he weighs in at 185 pounds from Albany, Washington, American Dragon!
American Dragon and Samoa Joe, your main event of the evening. These two men have squared off in the past, and now the stakes are even higher.
Absolutely. These two men in a tag match at our last event. And much like most of the matches, a lot of dissension. There's a lot of dissension in
That's
PWG.
right. Well, you see, what happens is each wrestler, you know, they have their own, I would say, opinion of themselves and where they should be, you know, in terms of the wrestling world, the pecking order, if you will. And you know, when two people think that, you know, or when one person thinks that someone else stands in their way in the pecking order of professional wrestling, they will take out their aggressions on the other man. And in this case, I believe it was American Dragon taking out his aggressions on Samoa Joe.
Absolutely. And it kind of like makes my heart sad that there's fragile egos in wrestling.
I would say that the only place with more fragile egos would be the field of puppetry. Those guys cannot take, they cannot take a criticism worth a salt.
Wow.
Like they are very protective of their craft.
Absolutely.
If they don't sync the lips of the character up and well enough with the speaking voice, and you were to call them out on that, they would get very I would say annoyed, almost angry.
They like to keep even their people that are against them in the puppetry world. They like to say, hey, you're not my equal, but you better be damn well close to me because we're all excellent in this field.
They say we are a brotherhood of puppeteers, much like in professional wrestling there is a so-called brotherhood. I have not seen it. It's not very prevalent in the scene today. However, here we see Samoa Joe and American Dragon having fun at the expense of Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, our aptly named show, The Musical.
Absolutely.
Comes to fruition.
Do a little West Side Story.
Yes, the Sharks and the Jets.
That's right.
Now, who would you say is a shark and who would you say is a jet?
I would have to say...
Can I finish my own joke?
Yes.
I kicked it back to you.
It was a rhetorical question.
Not really.
To me it was.
Well, okay, to you it was, and to everybody else listening it was. But I kicked it back to you with the intention of setting you up for the punchline. But then I thought of something that was, really good. So I'll say, okay. I would say that American Dragon is the jet because he flies through the air with his diving headbutt. And I would say that Samoa Joe is the shark because, much like the majestic great white shark, he likes to eat.
Wow!
And because he's Samoan, he likes to eat babies.
Ah! Bravo!
Thank you. And
bravo!
Inexplicably, fans at home will not know this, but I just raised my hands like, I was hushing an audience that was applauding me, when really it's just myself and Disco Machine in the little room.
And my cat, Jado.
I don't actually...
Jado may have
your
left
cat's sleeping on the steps.
Okay.
Your cat could not be less interested by our commentary.
Well, Jado is not part of the broadcasting team.
However, very interesting is this match, American Dragon escaping Samoa Joe's arm wringer and applying pressure to Samoa Joe's arm with aid of the middle rope and drop. Whoa! American Dragon having some fun gyrating. Samoa Joe is he's stricken clueless. by American Dragon.
American Dragon stealing a page out of the Disco Machine playbook.
He is. I would sue him for copyright infringement.
Well, I do it on a daily basis. Do not,
You sue people or you infringe on copyrights?
a little bit of both.
I
But,
see.
a little hush hush hush.
Drop toe hold by American Dragon. Joe protecting that neck, protecting his throat, not trying to prevent American Dragon from getting a face lock on him. But American Dragon just goes higher up and gets that big broad nose of Samoa Joe's in a face lock. Excuse me, the Mongolian beef again makes its return to my esophagus.
Like the great Mongolian chops of Killer Khan, straight to your esophagus.
Killer Khan, we come full circle, was referenced in our second match and now in our final match.
Absolutely.
Samoa Joe was in a pinning predicament. Now picks American Dragon up, going for that half crab. Samoa Joe trying to flip over American Dragon, trying to get the leverage, and now instead changes in mid-move from the half crab to a very painful looking submission.
Absolutely, with the knee to the back of the neck and ear of American Dragon, really stretching out that leg now. Now, Samoa Joe loves crab salad.
He does, and he loves crab legs. When Lobster or Red Lobster has all-you-can-eat crab, they close their doors when they see Joe coming because they know he has a voracious appetite, and he will eat those people out of house and home.
Absolutely. Voracious.
Voracious. Yes.
Fantastic.
Now, I mock Samoa Joe, not in any seriousness. In a playful manner, because number one, he's in the main event, of a very looked forward to match, which means that he's a better wrestler than I, and number two, he's a bigger, tougher, and stronger man than I am. So, I would hope that Joe knows I'm kidding.
I believe he does. He has a very good sense of humor, but he does not show it to American Dragon.
Now, the Samoans, well known for their hard heads, much like the extra hard concrete of the Elks Lodge. Samoa Joe could crack 300 coconuts in a row with that hard head of his and not feel a thing.
Absolutely. Much like in Japan, the foot can split a brick or a watermelon. In Samoa, the head can split 300 coconuts.
Yes, it is and Samoa Joe just twisting American Dragon into a pretzel, reminiscent of American Dragon twisting me into some sort of pretzel or salted snack.
Mr. Salty, you were. You were self-filleting yourself.
I was assaulted, an assaulted nut, if you will.
What more must I do?
That reference was lost.
That's okay.
And here we see American Dragon going behind Samoa Joe, again working into a face lock, putting his foot in the back of his knee, in the back of Samoa Joe's knee, dropping him down, and now choking Joe with his own hands. You can see Joe's face. The breath is being driven out of his throat. It is very tough for Joe to draw breaths, and American Dragon just making it very painful by driving knees into the small of the back of Samoa Joe.
Those big lungs are not getting that much needed oxygen. And now falling back and stretching him in that straitjacket type maneuver.
Much like that last bit of toothpaste that's in the tube, American Dragon attempts to squeeze the last bit of oxygen out of the lungs of Samoa Joe.
I've actually taken the container and actually cut it open, and that's how you get the last one.
That's right.
I've been that poor, even though I make millions of dollars now.
Now, here's a funny thing. I would like to think that if I won the lottery tomorrow, I would still use the entire tube of toothpaste. Samoa Joe was in a cravat applied by American Dragon, but instead he used his power, he used his size advantage to pick American Dragon up out of that move and just slam him down to the mat.
Unbelievable. This man is so strong, they go right back. This is interesting. After all that, it's almost as if they started the match over because they're both at the same strength.
They're both back up to a vertical base, and now Samoa Joe just rubbing the forearm, the hard side of his forearm, right across the face, the eyes, and the nose of American Dragon. And here's a little hint for you folks at home. To gain the upper hand in wrestling, some wrestlers will take Bengay or a cream like that and apply it to their forearm. When they rub their forearm across the eyes of their opponent, they will blind their opponent, giving them a momentary, sometimes permanent advantage in the match.
Wow, I did not know that.
The dirtiest player in the game, Ric Flair, taught me that one.
Did he really?
No.
Okay.
I've never met Ric Flair in my life. Samoa Joe on the receiving end of a baseball sliding drop kick, and now American Dragon about to tope Samoa Joe, but Samoa Joe wisely moves out of the way, but perhaps set himself up in position for a pescado, the fish, if you will. Oh no, again, a baseball sliding drop kick by American Dragon.
What the hell?
Oh my God! American Dragon, a springboard tope con hello. You do not see American Dragon do that move ever.
I have never seen American Dragon do anything springboard, let alone a dive. I've seen him do the tope many times, but a springboard?
I would say that that's the first time I've seen American Dragon even think about that dive. Not that I can see what American Dragon thinks. But American Dragon again. Oh! Now, okay.
Going for Shawn Michaels.
No. American Dragon is a very, very different man since he's returned from England. Okay, he used to be very focused. You know, he would not allow, again, the Mongolian beef, excuse me. He would not allow himself to indulge in little things like that, into the flexing, the posing, the appeals to the fans. Dear, oh my God! American Dragon suplex from the ring apron to the outside by Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe just using his weight advantage and the leverage of the ropes, creating a fulcrum with the ropes. A term I did not learn from you, but was reminded of by you.
Thank you.
And now, much like Lancelot Link, Secret Chimp, it is a running theme here in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla DVDs.
Absolutely.
And American Dragon is just feeling the effects of that, that suplex to the floor. And those kicks, not really for injury, more for insult by Samoa Joe. Anyway, as I was saying, and that may be an example of it. Now American Dragon allows himself to be distracted by the fans, by what the fans think of him. And he will appeal to the crowd, he will flex, he will pose, he will jaw with the crowd. Before, American Dragon would not do that. And I don't know if he lost a match before he went to England. He may have. We'll have to check the record books. But since he's come back, American Dragon, not that he's on a losing streak, but you see him lose more often than he wins, one might say.
And he's lost his temper many times in PWG.
And that has led to him losing matches, to him throwing away what seems victories. And I would not be surprised to see Samoa Joe come up with a victory because American Dragon is distracted. He allowed that distraction to give Samoa Joe the advantage of suplexing him to the floor. And now American Dragon is back in the seats of fans. Here we see the fans, ole, ole, ole.
Oh!
Boot scrapes to American Dragon, sending him into the second row of the crowd here at the Elks Lodge.
Sending American Dragon right into that theater-type seating at the Elks Lodge.
The theater-type seating, which is conducive to sleeping. Oh, Samoa Joe just punching American Dragon in the face. Ole, ole, ole again. And Joe jogging, boot slide right to the face of American Dragon. I would not be surprised if American Dragon's facial features were now on the back of his head, and when you looked at American Dragon in the place where his eyes would be, you would see his luxurious shaved head.
Samoa Joe breaking the count.
Breaking the 20 count, a very wise maneuver. This match could have ended early in a double countout, which is not very common in wrestling nowadays, and has never before happened in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla.
American Dragon putting that chop in, but falling down because remember that knee was hurt on that suplex.
Yeah, but look at Samoa Joe. He is shocked by that chop. People think chops are just, something to put into a match, but no, they do have a resounding effect. They can knock the air out of your lungs. They can knock a man down to the floor like we see American Dragon knocked down. They turned the tides in many matches. And now Samoa Joe, after that, small comeback by American Dragon, Samoa Joe is able to maintain the upper hand in this match.
Now, I don't know if these men have faced, I know they've faced each other many, many times, but I have to think, it's got to be pretty even. These two men have been in rings around the world, but I'm sure neither man has an advantage as far as like win-loss here.
I would have to be some sort of mathematician or a statistician. I'm not sure which one, though the term stat leads me to believe that the term would be mathematician. Anyway, Samoa Joe just dropping a knee right on the chest of American Dragon. These two men, while they've taken very different paths, their different paths have brought them to the same place in professional wrestling. Both men attend the New Japan Dojo. Both men are highly regarded as some of the best unsigned wrestlers in the world today. And both men are feared by, competitor, foe, and ally alike.
Absolutely. No man wants to stand in the ring and think that they're going to win against either of these two men. So putting these two men together, it's a very even matchup. Even though Joe has a size advantage, American Dragon has wrestled all over the world.
Yes, I would definitely give a technical advantage to Samoa Joe. And to American Dragon. And here you see Samoa Joe showing what he's best at. Brutalizing his opponent, using that size, laying in powerful punches and kicks, with added emphasis by his weight, by his size. I might make fun of Joe's size, but that size is what allows him to be so powerful with his punches and with his kicks.
Now, something also very interesting here, Samoa Joe really doling out.
Doling out.
No, it's doling. It's doling out the punishment here, but not going for the pin. Now, so neither of these two men have really had a sound game plan as far as winning.
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Both of these men, they train 5, sometimes 7 days a week, at the New Japan Dojo. Both men know the ins and the outs. As far as the last 6 months are concerned, these men have worked side by side at the New Japan Dojo. What one knows, the other knows. So Samoa Joe, I would say he has a very sound game plan for winning. He is dishing out the maximum amount of punishment to American Dragon. He is laying in with those chops, with those kicks, with those headbutts. He is making American Dragon work to stand up to his feet. American Dragon, getting up off the ground is a very easy task. After you've been beaten and brutalized by someone like Samoa Joe, you have to work to get to your feet, let alone to suplex somebody, let alone to suplex somebody the size of Samoa Joe. Therefore, Samoa Joe, I would say his game plan is very sound.
Absolutely, and if you beat him down and then cover him quick, you're not going to have your wits about you. It could be over in the 3 count.
Very true. Just as we saw Joe get shocked earlier by those chops to the chest, American Dragon again shocking Joe with a flurry of European-style uppercuts, and Samoa Joe sweeping out that damaged leg of American Dragon. You can see American Dragon just clutching that knee, that injured leg, and Samoa Joe knew that he was in trouble with that series of European uppercuts, and he knew he had to think quickly, to act fast. That first one shocked him. The second one brought him back to reality, and the third one just pissed him off.
Absolutely, and a very interesting little thing that Samoa Joe did there, hooking the injured knee on that pin.
That's very true. When you hook the leg, you take away the leverage of your opponent in kicking out. If their legs are off the canvas, they can't use that canvas as a base to bring their shoulders up off the mat. If their legs are up in the air, and especially their injured leg are up in the air, they have even less leverage. Now Samoa Joe picking American Dragon up and rolling him over into a Boston crowd, stretching that knee, and also with that added weight, just sitting on the upper back, adding pressure to the lower back and the knee of American Dragon.
Samoa Joe also a favorite of Boston baked beans. Also, continuing on the food theme. Samoa Joe really sinking it in here. This could be it. This man is. How can American Dragon get out of this one?
Samoa Joe with that modified in a good way. Boston Crab. There's a name.
No
for
mistake here.
Yeah, there's a name for it. I don't know. Samoa Joe just his face showed, it showed exactly what he was thinking. He was disappointed that American Dragon got to the ropes there. He knew he had him in a situation where the match could have easily ended. However, Samoa Joe allowed American Dragon, not out of arrogance, he just wasn't thinking. He didn't think of how close American Dragon was to the ropes. American Dragon allowed to crawl his way to the ring, and the simplest moves are sometimes the most effective. A body slam and a drop of the knee by Samoa Joe. Now, Joe going up top, Disco Machine, we do not see Samoa Joe go up top very often.
Absolutely, and this is why American Dragon really caught him up there and gives him a big European uppercut. What could this be?
Now American Dragon ascending to the top rope, and he could be going for a superplex on Samoa Joe, that injured leg preventing him from quickly, nimbly climbing up to the top rope. Samoa Joe, he's trying to block, he's trying to escape, and now a superplex by American Dragon onto Samoa Joe. The impact, though, affected both men. Joe took the brunt of it, but American Dragon, in order to suplex somebody that size, he had to put a lot of himself on the line to accomplish that maneuver. And could this be it? 2 count only for American Dragon. He risked it all, but it was not enough to put away Samoa Joe.
Well, very interesting there. American Dragon going for the cover instead of buying him valuable time.
We see American Dragon applying the very submission that finished a very large man, Brad Bradley. Earlier on in the year in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, Brad Bradley was put down by the submission move, an unorthodox attack on the other man. And Samoa Joe is, he has no leverage from this position. He's on his stomach. He can't roll over. His neck is being stretched back, and he is in a very painful position. But American Dragon not having the ring sense, probably because of the beating dished out by Samoa Joe, allowed Joe to get too close to the ropes and escape that submission.
Maybe couldn't get it all because of that injured knee as well.
Very true, very true. Another chop to the chest of Samoa Joe, driving home the fact that he too can strike, that he too can hit like a baseball bat. Just chopping the skin off the chest of Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, a very quick power slam. This is it. 2 count, and now he rolls over into a cross arm breaker. Samoa Joe attacking the arm now of American Dragon. American Dragon extends that injured knee to the ropes and breaks up the cross arm breaker.
Very underrated how fast Samoa Joe is. He can put you away in an instant.
In a blink of an eye, the tide can change. Samoa Joe can change the outcome of a match just by applying his size and his agility. You think a guy is big and he cannot be fast, but Samoa Joe is, I don't want to say he's the exception to the rule, but he is definitely not the norm.
Spine buster by Samoa Joe. This could be it. Oh, now he's out of it. Wow, working the knee, working the arm, and now going for that back. He's really taking it to the American Dragon, and I don't know how much more American Dragon can take.
American Dragon has been on the receiving end of Samoa Joe's offense. American Dragon, he's got in a few shots here and there. A diving European uppercut takes Samoa Joe off his feet. It's not very often you see a strike take Samoa Joe off his feet, but a diving European uppercut like that, which catches a man right under the jaw. You hear the term glass jaw in boxing. When your jaw is snapped up like that, your head is rattled and it just, it stuns you. It just knocks you off your feet. And American Dragon very narrowly missed having a 3 count fall on Samoa Joe.
This is the intangible quality of American Dragon. Even though he's taken all this punishment, he gives one maneuver and he just goes right straight for the pin, not taking any chance to rest, and always wants to put the offense in the
Tiger Mask style suplex, just cranking the neck of Samoa Joe, whipping him over, now ascending to the top rope. The jet, now Samoa Joe gets his boot up and plants it firmly in the face of American Dragon. American Dragon still, though, may have caught Samoa Joe with the diving headbutt.
Well, Samoa Joe, they're both down at this point. How many minutes has this match gone already?
This match must be nearing its 30-minute time limit. However, I would say Samoa Joe is now in position to finish this match. No, American Dragon is trying to exchange shots with Samoa Joe, but Samoa Joe, you can't go toe-to-toe with Joe, as the expression is said. Now American Dragon trying to go for an abdominal stretch. Both men go out of the ring as Joe avoids that abdominal stretch.
Referee Rick Knox follows the action out. Please don't let this be a count out. This match has to continue. Rick Knox rolling back in the ring, putting the count on him. This would be a shame if this match went to a count out. All the fans in PWG would like to see a finish to this match.
The abdominal stretch, a very underrated maneuver. American Dragon has finished men before with the abdominal stretch in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. Just Joe and American Dragon brawling on the outside, exchanging kicks, exchanging punches. Just chops to the chest. Just a brutal display. You'd see this in a prize fight, not a wrestling match.
Absolutely. Big European uppercut. A kick by Samoa Joe.
As I was saying, American Dragon training at the New Japan Dojo, picking up the abdominal stretch from Antonio Inoki himself. Antonio Inoki using that move over the years to pick up a great number of victories, and now American Dragon has perfected his technique. He will apply the abdominal stretch to Samoa Joe, and that could easily be it for Samoa Joe.
Big, huge kicks by Samoa Joe. Another chop to that chest that just has all those blood vessels probably like busted open on him.
And now a cravat and a knee to the chest and jaw of Samoa Joe. Now American Dragon, with those European uppercuts, with that knee, he is concentrating on the... he could be going for a knockout in this match.
Absolutely. Now, is he going to do the boot scrapes?
Ole, 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 my friends. American Dragon, again, appealing to the fans, not something you see very often.
Oh!
Just a diving drop kick to the face of Samoa Joe. Just, again, with those strikes to the head of Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe is very thick-headed, being Samoan and all. But if you get beat around the head enough, it will put you down on the canvas. And sometimes it puts you down long enough for the referee to count a 10 and consider you knocked out. Big vertical suplex on the outside on that extra hard concrete the Elks Lodge had poured just for Pro Wrestling Guerrilla.
Minutes before this match.
That's true. You know, before this, Samoa Joe could be going for the Nesty plunge, just diving elbow drop, but he misses. American Dragon rolls out of the way. He saw Joe jumping off the ring apron, and referee Rick Knox, I know he wants what the fans want. He knows what the fans want. He wants this match to come to a conclusion. I would say these men have been brawling on the outside for more than 2 minutes, but referee Rick Knox, for the sake of giving the fans a satisfactory conclusion, he forsakes the 20 count on the outside and allows these men to continue this match on the outside. And now on the inside of the ring, Samoa Joe does not want American Dragon to be able to turn over that half crab, but American Dragon does turn over that half crab, puts his knee in the small of the back of Joe for the leverage. Joe, unfortunately, for American Dragon, grabs the ropes and is able to escape the submission hold.
It was Samoa Joe working over the knee of American Dragon. Now American Dragon working over the knee of big Samoa Joe. Now all those big clubbing forearms across the face.
Now could this be a modified, again, in a good way, dragon screw on Samoa Joe, taking that knee from a straight position and turning it to an outward facing position? And for a man with the legs the size of Samoa Joe, that is a very, very uncomfortable thing to have happen. Now, American Dragon, could he have been taking a page out of the great Muhammad Ali, a man who fought the great Antonio Inoki? Could he be taking a page out of Muhammad Ali's playbook and taking all that punishment for the sake of a rope-a-dope?
Wow. I think that's a stretch. It might not be.
Here I am calling the greatest match of my life, and Samoa Joe, in the greatest maneuver of his life, changes the course of this match in an STO, driving American Dragon head first down into the mat and allowing Samoa Joe to catch his breath, to allow him to nurse that injured knee and, gain the upper hand on American Dragon all in one fell swoop.
Now, each man has had the advantage of this match. Now it's just more chops, slaps to the face. Samoa Joe losing his control, losing his temper, and it's gonna put it to American Dragon. Big punch to the face, a slap across the face as well.
Nothing fancy about a punch to the face. For as ugly as it is effective. And here we see American Dragon returning to those European uppercuts, getting right under the jaw of Samoa Joe. You can hit a man 100 times and he won't fall down, but you can hit a man once and he'll fall down and be out for, he'll be down for the count. And American Dragon right here into his finisher, the cattle mutilation, but Samoa Joe knows it's coming and he reverses out of it. Now Joe, dazed, out on his feet, and allows American Dragon to hit him right square in the face and forearm.
2
count only for American Dragon. I thought this match was over with.
I have never seen anybody reverse the cattle mutilation. That was a fantastic maneuver, and it seemed real simple for Samoa Joe, that goes back to their training together.
Yes, Samoa Joe knows the cattle mutilation intimately. He has had it applied in training sessions by American Dragon, and a student of the game of professional wrestling. Samoa Joe throwing his entire weight behind that lariat, knocking American Dragon right off of his feet and down to the canvas.
Turning him inside out. These men down again. No man can take a decided advantage, but Samoa Joe, could he be going back to that Boston Crab?
The half crab. Samoa Joe picking him up. A Boston Crab again, applying the knee to the back of American
This has to do
Dragon.
it.
American Dragon, he's feeling the pain. And a very interesting note, Disco Machine. We haven't brought this up, but forgive me for emphasizing this. Frankie Kazarian, Adam Pearce, Baby Slim, 3 men that you often see in the main events here in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. 3 men which were suspended last show by Commissioner Paul T. Frankie Kazarian and Adam Pearce in hot contention for the PWG title, usually in the main event, not in the main event because of their suspension. Therefore, we are able to bring the fans this match with Samoa Joe and American Dragon, and what a doozy of a match it's been.
Absolutely. These 2 men really taking it to each other, and they will not give anything to each other. They will not go down.
Samoa Joe now he reverts to the most basic of attacks. He is on American Dragon's back. He is using his body weight to drive the air out of American Dragon, and he's using his big arms to cut the oxygen flow. That was it. 30 minutes. This match is over. It ends in a draw.
A draw? Unbelievable. These men could not knock each other out, and for the 3 count in 30 minutes. What is it going to take?
Thank you, Disco Machine, and thank you myself, Excalibur, I suddenly turned Mexican, and thank you fans for purchasing this Pro Wrestling Guerrilla DVD. We hope you enjoyed the music, and we hope you will be back with our next DVD, PWG 44 Ways to Kill You with a Pimento.
Shit all the time. If we want 5 more minutes, they want 5 more minutes. Remember you left me, bitch? Remember you left me? Now. Yeah, where are they at now, bitch, huh?
3 more minutes! Teddy!